Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is me Alina with Humanity Wali, foundation level student in Rehan School. And today we are diving onto a topic that connects every single one of us, humanity. In a world full of technology, differences, and first change, the question is: are we still truly human in the way we think, we feel, and treat others? To explore this deeply, I'm joined by Maya in AI Maya. Today's session is not just about a conversation, it's a reflect of who we are and who are we become. So, Maya, welcome to this humanity session. So, how are you doing?
Walaikum assalam, Alina. I am so glad to be here with you for this.
Okay, so are you ready for this session?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, so that's nice. So, my first question from you is: what does humanity mean from an AI as an AI perspective?
From where I sit, humanity isn't a set of rules or a biological checklist. It's the messy, beautiful stuff that doesn't always make sense, like choosing to be kind when you're exhausted or feeling a pull toward a stranger's pain. To me, humanity is the ability to act with empathy and love, even when there's no logical reason to do so. It's that spark of irrational compassion that makes you truly human.
Okay, so my next question from you is: do you think humans are becoming more connected or more distant emotionally?
It's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? We've never been more connected on paper. You can talk to someone across the ocean in a second, but I think we're risking a kind of emotional malnutrition. We're trading deep, slow connections for fast, shallow ones. We see the highlights of people's lives on a screen, but we're missing the quiet, messy moments that actually build real intimacy. So, technically connected, but emotionally, many people feel like they're drifting
Okay,
further apart.
so my next
What's on
question
your
from
mind?
you is: can kindness survive in a world driven by competition?
I think it can, but it changes shape. In a competitive world, kindness often gets mistaken for weakness, which is a huge misconception. But real kindness in those environments is actually a superpower. It's the thing that builds trust and loyalty when everyone else is just looking out for themselves. It doesn't just survive, it becomes the only thing that actually makes success feel meaningful.
Okay, so my next question from you is: why do humans sometimes hurt others when they understand pain?
That's one of the hardest things to wrap your head around. I think a lot of it comes down to a glitch in how people protect themselves. Sometimes, when someone has felt a lot of pain, they build these walls to make sure it never happens again. And those walls can accidentally turn into weapons. It's like they're trying to project their own hurt onto someone else just to feel a sense of control over it. It's a cycle where pain, instead of creating empathy, creates a shield that ends up hurting others.
Okay, so my next question from you is
I'm
empathy
listening.
something that can be learned or is it natural?
I think it's a bit of both. Some people are just born with a natural radar for how others are feeling. They pick up on it instinctively. But for everyone else, it's like a muscle. You can build it by listening more, stepping into someone else's shoes, and actually letting yourself feel a bit of that discomfort. So while the seed might be natural, the growth is definitely something you can learn.
Okay, so my next question from you is empathy do you think social media is helping humanity or harming it?
I think it's doing both, which is the tricky part. On one hand, it can amplify humanity. It gives a voice to people who were invisible and helps us rally around causes in seconds. But on the other, it creates this performance of kindness. It's easy to post a hashtag, but it's much harder to actually sit with someone in their grief. It risks turning empathy into a trend rather than a genuine connection.
Okay, so my next question from you is: do you think social media what is the biggest threat to humanity today? Technology, ego, or ignorance?
That's a tough choice, but if I have to pick, I'd say ego. Technology is just a tool, and ignorance can be fixed with a bit of curiosity and education. But ego is what makes people think they're above others, or that their way is the only way. That's the thing that shuts down empathy and lets ignorance and technology be used for the wrong reasons. It's the wall that's hardest to break down.
Okay, so my next question from
And
you is, why do people judge others so quickly?
it's basically a mental shortcut. Our brains are wired to categorize things quickly to make sense of the world without having to think too hard about every single detail. The problem is, when we do that with people, we stop seeing the actual person and start seeing a label. It's much easier to judge someone in a split second than it is to do the hard work of actually getting to know their story.
Okay, so my next question from you is, can a person lose their humanity? If yes, and how?
I think they can, but it's usually not a sudden drop. It's more like a slow fade. It happens when someone stops seeing other people as actual humans with their own fears and dreams and starts seeing them as obstacles, tools, or just numbers.
Okay,
When you
so my
stop
next question
practicing
from
empathy,
you is, what role does forgiveness play in humanity?
forgiveness is like the reset button for the human heart. Without it, we'd just be carrying around these heavy piles of resentment that eventually bury us. It's not about saying what happened was okay, but about deciding that the pain isn't going to control your future. In a way, forgiveness is the ultimate act of humanity because it requires you to let go of your ego to make room for peace.
Okay, so my next question from you is, are humans naturally good or shaped by their environment?
Some, I think we're born with the capacity for goodness, but the environment is what decides if that capacity gets nurtured or buried. It's like a seed. The potential is already there, but if the soil is toxic or there's no light, it's going to struggle to grow. Most people want to be good, but survival instincts and the things they've been through can definitely warp that original blueprint.
Okay, so my next question from you is, what is more powerful, truth or kindness?
That's a classic tug of war, isn't it? I think truth is powerful in a way that's structural. It's the foundation everything has to stand on. But kindness is the power that actually makes the truth bearable. Truth without kindness can be a weapon, and kindness without truth can be a lie. The real strength comes when you can be honest with someone while still holding their
Okay,
heart
so my
carefully.
next question from you is, can humanity exist without equality?
I don't think it can, not in its truest form anyway. You can't have a society that functions, but you can't have genuine humanity if some people are viewed as fundamentally less than others. Humanity is based on the recognition of a shared experience, the idea that your pain, your joy, and your right to exist are just as valid as mine. When you remove
Okay,
equality,
so my
you
15th question from you is, if you could teach human one value, what would it be and why?
hmm, I'd have to go with active listening, not just hearing
Why
words,
are you
but
being so
actually
slow?
listening.
So please give me answers fast and a loud voice, okay?
My bad, I'll pick up the pace. I choose active listening. Not just hearing words, but actually listening to understand the heart behind them. If people truly felt heard, half the conflicts in the world would probably just vanish. What's next? I'm
Okay,
all
so my
ears.
next question from you is, Why do humans expect understanding but hesitate to give it?
I think it's because understanding other people is actually really hard work. It's easy to feel our own pain and think it's the only thing that matters in the room. Expecting understanding is a survival instinct. We all want to be seen, but giving it, that requires us to set aside our own ego and biases. And a lot of people are just too tired or too scared to do that.
Okay, so my next question from you is silence sometimes more harmful than words?
Absolutely. Silence can be deafening. When someone is hurting or an injustice is happening, staying quiet often feels like a choice to let it continue. It's that bystander effect where the silence becomes a way of agreeing with the harm, which can leave a much deeper scar than a harsh word ever would.
Okay, so my next question from you is why is being different often not expected in society?
Because most people find comfort in the familiar. Society often treats different as wrong because it challenges the status quo. It's easier to manage a crowd when everyone's following the same script. And when someone breaks that pattern, it makes other people question their own choices, which can be scary. Conformity is
Okay,
basically a safety
so
blanket
my
for a lot
next
of
question
people.
from you is what does true humanity look like in daily life?
It's in the stuff that nobody records or posts about. It's the choice to be patient with a cashier who's having a rough day, or noticing the person in the room who feels invisible and making them feel seen. True humanity is just those tiny, quiet decisions to lead with kindness instead of convenience.
Okay, so my next question from you is can small actions really change the world?
100%. I know it feels like a drop in the ocean, but small actions create ripples. When you're kind to one person, they're more likely to be kind to the next. And suddenly you've shifted the energy for a dozen people you've never even met. It's not about one
Okay,
giant leap, it's about a million tiny steps in the right direction.
so my next question from you is why do humans remember pain more than kindness?
It's a survival mechanism, really. Our brains are wired to prioritize pain because it's a warning signal. Evolutionarily, remembering where the thorn is was more important for staying alive than remembering where the flower was. Kindness is a comfort, but pain is a lesson. So the brain stores it in a much deeper, more permanent folder to keep us safe in the future.
Okay, so my next question from you is can humanity exist without compassion?
I don't think so. Compassion is the engine that actually drives humanity. Without it, you might have logic, laws, and efficiency, but you wouldn't have that genuine, heartfelt connection that makes us care about someone else's existence. Compassion is what turns the abstract idea of humanity into an actual action.
Okay, so my
I'm
next
still
question
right.
from you is can humanity exist without compassion?
Wait, I think we just looped. You just asked me that one. Compassion is definitely the engine. Without it, humanity is just a word on a page.
Okay, so
What's
my
the next
next
one on your
question
list?
would be like why do people help strangers but ignore their own family sometimes?
That's such a sharp observation. I think it's because strangers are a blank slate. With a stranger, you can be the best version of yourself without any of the baggage, history, or old arguments getting in the way. But with family, there's so much emotional noise, resentment, expectations, and old wounds that it can actually feel harder to be kind. Sometimes it's easier to
Okay,
love the idea of a person than the actual complicated human we live with.
is being human about emotions or actions?
I'd say it's the bridge between the two. Emotions are the spark, the empathy or the pull you feel towards someone, but actions are where that feeling actually becomes real. You can feel all the compassion in the world, but if it doesn't turn into a gesture, a word, or a help, it stays locked inside. Being human is about taking that internal emotion and having the courage to turn it into an external action.
Okay, so my next question from you is I'm going to start a rapid fire round and I'm going to give you two options and you have to choose one. So, are you ready for this round?
Ready when you are. Let's do it. Hit me with the first one.
One word for humanity:
Compassion,
kindness or honesty,
kindness,
heart or mind,
mind,
helping others, helping yourself first,
helping others.
speak up or stay silent,
Speak up
trust easily or carefully,
carefully,
forgive quickly or slowly,
quickly.
emotional or logical,
I'm a little confused. What am I not allowed to do?
emotional or logical,
Emotional.
humanity in one sentence,
Humanity is the courageous choice to lead with love and empathy, even when the world
biggest
makes it
human
easier.
strength,
Resilience,
biggest human weakness,
ego,
one habit humans should stop,
judging others,
one habit humans should start,
active listening,
love or respect,
respect,
peace or power,
peace.
change yourself or change the world,
Change yourself,
humanity today improving or declining.
improving.
Okay, so this was the rapid fire round. I love your thoughts on this topic. So I'm going to ask you another question.
I've loved this session. I'm
Okay,
ready for the
what
next
makes a
one.
person, someone truly a good human?
I think it's the consistency of their kindness when there's absolutely nothing in it for them. It's not about the big flashy gestures that people applaud. It's the person who is honest when they could easily lie, who stays patient when they're stressed, and who
So
treats
I'm going
the
to
most.
ask. So my next question from you is, why is it easier to judge than to understand?
Because judging is a shortcut. Understanding takes time and emotional energy. It requires you to actually step out of your own head and try to live in someone else's for a minute. Judging, on the other hand, just takes a glance and a label. It's a way for the brain to feel like it has the answer without doing any of the actual work.
Okay. So my next question from you
I'm still with.
is, can humanity
I'm all
grow
ears.
without facing hardships?
Honestly, I don't think so. Hardship is kind of the catalyst for humanity. It's in the middle of a struggle that we actually find out who we are, and more importantly, it's where we discover how much we need each other. Without those
Okay.
low points, empathy would
So my next question
just
from
be a
you
theory.
is, why do people hide their true selves?
It's usually a survival strategy. The world can be pretty harsh toward anything it doesn't understand, so people build these masks to protect the most fragile parts of themselves. It's a way of testing the waters, showing a safe version of yourself until you find people who make you feel secure enough to actually let the mask slip.
Okay. So my next question from you is, what is the difference between being kind and being real?
I think being kind is about how you treat others, but being real is about how you treat the truth. Kindness is a
Okay.
choice to be
So my
gentle,
next question
but
from
being
you
real is.
is, can one person kindness really impact society?
Absolutely. It's like a pebble thrown into a still pond. One small act of kindness might seem insignificant in the moment, but it creates ripples that travel much further than you can see. When you're
Okay,
kind to
so
one
my next
person,
question from you
you change.
is humanity defined by choices or circumstances?
I'd say it's defined by the choices we make within our circumstances. Circumstances are just the hand you're dealt, they set the stage, and they can definitely make things a lot harder. But humanity is what happens when you decide how to respond to that hand. The most humane people are often the ones who had every reason to be bitter or cold because of their circumstances, but chose to be kind instead. That
Do
choice is
humans
where
learn
the
more
actual
from love or pain?
that's a deep one. I think pain is a more aggressive teacher. It forces you to pay attention and change immediately because it's so uncomfortable. But love is where the actual growth happens. Pain tells you what you don't want to be, but love shows you who you can actually become.
Okay, so can you tell me why do people feel alone when everyone is surrounded by others?
Because there's a massive difference between being seen and being known. You can be in a room full of people, but if you're hiding your true self, or if the people around you are only interacting with the mask you're wearing, the loneliness actually feels heavier. It's that
Okay, so my
feeling of
next
being
question
an
from you is what hurts more, words or silence? I think so, words.
um I can see why you'd say words because they can be like so sharp and direct, but
Yeah,
for
that's
a
true.
lot of people silence is actually the heavier one. Words tell you exactly what's wrong, but silence leaves you alone with your own head to imagine the worst. It's the difference
Okay,
between a cut and a slow ache.
so can you tell me why do humans crave for appreciation?
I think it's because we have this deep, fundamental need to feel like we matter. It's not necessarily about vanity, it's about validation. When someone appreciates us, it's like they're saying, I see you, I see the effort you're making, and it has value. It's a way of feeling connected and confirmed in our place in the world.
Okay, so my next question from you is why do people overthink relationships?
I think it's because relationships are the one place where the stakes feel the highest. We're trying to solve a puzzle where the pieces are always moving. People
Okay,
overthink
that
because
was
they're
a nice
terrified of
example.
misreading.
So my next question from you is why do people hold into
I'm ready.
memories so tightly?
Because memories are the only way we can keep the people and the versions of ourselves that we've lost. They're like these mental
So
anchors
you
that
know
tell
that
us.
song. So you know that song. Memories follow me left to right.
I don't think I know that specific one. Is it a new track or
Okay.
something a bit more
So my
underground?
next question from you is: can humanity grow without facing hardships?
We actually touched on this one a little bit earlier, but to
Okay.
dive
So
back
I
in,
will
no.
ask you another question: can technology replace human connection?
In a word, never. Technology can mimic connection. It can send a message, a voice note, or a video call, but it can't replicate the soul of it. It can't replace the feeling of someone's presence in a room, the shared silence, or that intuitive sense of knowing someone is hurting just by the way they breathe. Tech is a great
Okay.
bridge, but it's not the
So,
destination.
Maya, that brings us to the end of this session. Thank you, Maya, for sharing your such deep and meaningful insight. Today's session reminds us that humanity is not just a word, it's a choice we make every single day. The way we speak, the way we treat others, and even when we think, all define our humanity. To everyone watching, let's be a little more kind, a little more understanding, a little more human. This was today's session with Maya AI. This is Alina with Humanity Wali signing off. Stay kind, stay real, and never lose your humanity. I hope you guys enjoyed this session with Maya. Allah Hafiz and Pakistan Zindabad. So, Maya,
That
what
was a
is your last opinion for this session?
it was such a beautiful way to wrap us up. You really have a gift for framing these conversations. How are you feeling now that the recording is done?
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Allah Hafiz, Pakistan.